and making it imperative for us to protect and save this gentle giant. Despite its mammoth size, this gentle giant has been loved and revered across the globe. Yet, ironically, it is also hated and killed due to the escalating human-elephant conflict and for the undesirable demands of its ivory, necessitating the urgent need to conserve and protect the species through mass awareness amongst all masses and stakeholders. Thereby, the ministry celebrating the World Elephant Day every year with zeal and commitment to save the largest bastion of the species existing in India. May I request our Chief Guest, Honorable Minister of Environment, Forests and Climate Change, and our Guest of Honor, Minister of State, Environment, Forests and Climate Change, and the other dignitaries to kindly light the lamp and declare the event open. Thanks, sir. Coming from the God's own country, Kerala, having the large stronghold of both wild and captive population of Asian elephants, Shri Thomas, the Inspector General of Prakash Elephant, with his grit and determination and commitment to save the elephants, leaves no stone unturned to make the path for conserving elephants. May I welcome Shri Thomas, the Director and Inspector General of Project Elephant Division, to kindly give the welcome address.
Very good morning to you all. Chief Guest of the Day, Honorable Minister for Environment, Forests and Climate Change, Government of India. Guest of Honor, Honorable Minister of State for Environment, Forests and Climate Change, Babu Supriyo. Our Secretary, Shri R.P. Gupta. Sanjay Kumar, DGF, Shri Soumitra Das Gupta, ADG Wildlife, Shri Amit Malik, IG Wildlife, as well as IG NTCA, Additional Secretaries of the Ministry, Chief Wildlife Wardens of the various states, Senior Officers of the MOFCC and subordinate organizations of the Ministry, Officers from other ministries and organizations, distinguished guests, invitees, guests from print and visual media, ladies and gentlemen. Friends, World Elephant Day every year reminds us to take affirmative actions for elephant conservation in the country. In this context, we are very happy to inform that now the Indian elephant is placed in the Appendix 1 of Convention of Migratory Species. This will give a further boost to the transboundary elephant conservation in the Asian elephant countries. The high conservation status of Indian elephants and its place in our faith, rituals and culture has ensured its protection and conservation in the country. It is very heartening to note that from the dwindling population of 15,000 in 1991, the elephant population is now about 30,000, which is more than half of the world's Asian elephant population. This has been achieved due to the concerted efforts of this ministry, state forest department, various non-governmental organizations, conservationists, and above all, the people of this country. But at the same time, it is also pertinent to note that many precious lives of humans as well as elephants are lost every year due to human-elephant conflicts and also due to accidents on railway tracks, highways, etc. Electrocution alone is resulting in more than 60% of deaths of elephants in various states. The increase in elephant population in this country has brought with its accompanying problems of increasing human-elephant conflict incidents. The major reason is the fragmentation of our elephant habitats and also due to ever-increasing demand of forest areas for various developmental purposes. There is a need for balancing the developmental aspirations along with the conservation needs of our national heritage animals. Now let me formally welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Prakash Javadekar, who is the leader who is taking active interest in protection and conservation of elephants as well as the whole wildlife in the country. He has also been advocating balanced approach to conservation as well as development. So I take this opportunity to welcome our Honorable Minister to today's Elephant Day celebration. Our Honorable Minister of State, Shri himself is a non-conservationist to the core. He has been championing the elephant issues. I welcome you to this function. Our secretary had to leave for urgent. I also welcome our secretary to this function. Our DG of he has always been the forefront of guiding conservation issues. I welcome him to this function. Additional DG of Wildlife guides and directs all the activities of wildlife conservation in the country. I welcome him to this function. I also welcome ADGFC, Additional Secretaries, Joint Secretaries, IGF, and all senior officers of this ministry to this function. We all know that states where all our conservation activities are happening. Welcome all the PCCFs and Chief Wildlife Wardens of the states to the celebration today. I also welcome Director WIA who is supporting today's Elephant Day celebrations here. I welcome MS NTCA, ZUZA, Additional Director WCCV, all senior officers and staff of this ministry and other ministries to this function. I also take this opportunity to welcome all the representatives from conservation and civil society organizations to this year's Elephant Day celebration here today. Last but not the least, I welcome all the invited guests and all our guests from print and visual media to this year's Elephant Day celebrations. I once again welcome one and all to this function. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Abraham Lincoln said that the best way to predict the future is to create it. He not only dares to dream, but with every stride turns it into a reality. A go-getter, a visionary, he has stormed into the global arena, holding high the baton of India as a global conservation leader. Ladies and gentlemen, I present before you Shri the Additional Director General of Wildlife, a tornado that is unstoppable, who knows the sky is the limit. So please.
Honorable Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Honorable MOS, Environment, Forest and Climate Change, respected DD Saab, distinguished colleagues in the dais, and distinguished colleagues in the hall. Today is a very important day for wildlife conservation the one hand, we have initiated the celebration of elephant conservation in the country today. Although the International Elephant Day is celebrated on the 12th of August, but today is the beginning. With the solemn hand of our honorable ministers, this is going to start, and we will carry forward with a series of celebrations in the upcoming week. But today also is a very important day for India regarding lion conservation. And we are also celebrating with a lot of fanfare in Gujarat, along with support from the ministry. But as you know, elephant is a charismatic and a majestic animal which is having a high value significance to the Indian society. Elephants have been revered by millions of Indians across the country for its social, cultural, and religious significance. Elephants have been aptly given the right or title of the national heritage animals. Elephants, we also know, play a very important role in maintaining the ecosystem where it lives. The ecosystem is nurtured by the thousands of elephants that we have in our country. Elephas maximus, the species which is found in our country, is found in 12 other countries as well. But India is harboring nearly 30,000 of the species, including about 2,700 of these animals in captivity. Elephants, as you must be knowing, that it's a huge animal and they move in herd from one place to another. They are long-ranging animals. So these hundreds of elephants, when they move from one place to another, district to district, sometimes between state to state, and even between countries, it comes in interface with human beings. Unfortunately, we have documents
Engine oil plays a vital role in the performance of your vehicle's engine. But before selecting the right oil for your vehicle, it's essential to know the different types of oils and what they can do for your vehicle. Engine oil is a lubricant that reduces friction within the dozens of moving parts inside an engine. It also absorbs the heat generated by that friction and helps the engine run at optimal operating temperatures. Whenever purchasing an engine oil or going in for an oil change in your vehicle, it's essential to know what is the grade of oil being used. Now, you would have noticed an engine oil can printed with a combination of letters and numbers like this: 10W40 or 5W40 and many more. That combination is the viscosity index of that engine oil, and it's important to know what that represents. That combination indicates the rate at which oil will flow. The numbers before the W denotes flow rate at minus 17.8 degrees Celsius. The numbers after the W denote flow rate at 100 degrees Celsius. W stands for winter. So, a 5W40 rated oil means it's better for winter conditions than a 10W30, as it won't thicken as easily as the 10W30 in the same conditions. On the other end, in peak summers, the 10W30 oil will thin out much faster than, say, a 10W40 oil. So choose your engine oil accordingly. If you live up in the north where the winters are more severe, remember to choose an engine oil with a lower viscosity index. But if you live in a hot region, especially in summers, choose an engine oil with a viscosity index of, say, 5W40. For most Indian conditions, a 5W40 engine oil works across a range of operating temperatures. So now that you know which oil to choose, get yourself the right one.
Thanks for watching our DIY videos. To know more, watch and follow our Total India Facebook page.
जब आई सोनी लिव के शो अवरोध की टीम तो कपिल ने फोड़े मस्ती के बम।
अर्चना जी, लॉकडाउन में दो ही लोग दिख रहे थे। कौन? सड़कों पे सोनू सूद और वेब सीरीज में अमित साध।
The Kapil Sharma Show, streaming now on Sony Live.
Elephant conservation, both for the humankind as well as for the elephant. There are some disturbing news that we have faced in the past few months, and we have observed in consternation that a few elephants have to meet unfortunate deaths due to retaliatory killing. We would like to convey our message that the ministry is taking due concern and they are working shoulder to shoulder with the state governments to bring to books all those culprits who are responsible for this nefarious activity. It is time for us today to come together to make an absolute necessity for ecological and other reasons that elephants should be conserved. It's the day when we again come together to renew our pledge to actually observe all the facts and figures and come and say that we have to save the elephants and the humankind so that we have a safe future and a symbiotic future for both the elephants as well as the human being. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. What we are doing to the forests of the world is nothing but a mirror reflection of what we are doing to one another. Firmly believing this notion, his work symbolizes not only his commitment towards protecting and preserving nature, but also a testament to the concern for its sustainable use for future. A dynamic leader who leads by example, with his unconventional approach and scientific bent of mind, none other than Dr. Sanjay Kumar, the Director General of Forests and Special Secretary. May I, sir, please request you to kindly address the gathering.
Honorable Minister, sir, Prakash Javadekar, sir, Honorable MOS, Babu Supriyo, sir, my colleagues in this ministry, in the state governments, all other members who are connected to us through social media platforms, friends of media, all other guests, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have gathered once again, after a year, to celebrate this World Elephant Day. Now the question is that why year after year we are celebrating this World Elephant Day? What is the need actually? And particularly for an animal which has been part of our life for the time immemorial. This Asian elephant has been with us for the last 6,000 years of recorded history. Even during the Mauryan period, Chandragupta Maurya period, there were already 9 elephant reserves which were earmarked in his state. And the armies, as recent as in the Mughal Empire, they harbored more than 40,000 elephants. So with all these interactions, social interactions, positive interactions with elephants, how and why the species has dwindled to an extent where it has to be declared as an endangered species. So that's a very, very important question. And we need to look into it very, very scientifically. I'm very glad that as our IG and our ADG have mentioned, a number of efforts have been taken and the population is slowly recovering. Our Honorable Minister, our Honorable MOS, they take regular meetings, specific focus meetings on how we can actually not only conserve the species but also mitigate the issues which arise because of the rising population of the elephants. So on the one hand, we are very happy that the elephant species, the number of elephant species in India is rising. But also, we are also very, very concerned that with this, very serious conflicts also occur, as our ADG has mentioned. More than 500 people are killed every year because of elephants, by the elephants. That's a matter of very serious concern. And I extend the sympathy of myself, of our ministry, of our government, to all those people who have been affected because of this. The families of the deceased, the families of those who have been affected because of death, injury, crop damage, house damage, to all these elements. And we are standing with our state governments who are managing this crisis in a very, very innovative manner at their own individual levels. With respect to management of crisis, they have found innovative ways which we need to replicate across the country, and not only across the country, but as I said, this Asian elephant, which has been found, which was recorded in most parts of Asia, right from where today is Iraq and Syria to the Malay Islands. And we wish now, with the blessings of our ministers, that we should be extending that knowledge which we have gained here in not only conserving this species, but also ensuring that how conservation and development can go hand in hand on the one hand, and also on the other, that how could we actually mitigate the effects of the rising population. The population is expanding. Right from Jharkhand, the population has migrated to Chhattisgarh. Now it is migrating to Madhya Pradesh, even to Maharashtra. So wherever it is going, now there are new interactions which are taking place between human and elephant. Interactions which have not happened in the recent past. And these interactions create a number of problems, including human deaths, human damages, injury to human, crop damages, property damages. And each state government is finding new ways. They are experimenting. Institutes, research institutes are experimenting. Kerala, for example, has developed advanced warning systems. So has Karnataka. And so has Assam. We need to collate all these knowledges and replicate not only across the country, but across the whole Asian countries where the original range of population of elephant was there. And we should be working towards that also. I'm very happy that the whole team of the Project Elephant Cell and Project Elephant Division, they have worked very, very hard in collating all this knowledge. They are holding regular meetings with the chief wildlife wardens, research institutes and others, and they will be bringing about a document on best practices which will be released today by our honorable ministers. Likewise, we will be working on new research methodologies, on new ideas through which to actually see that the populations which are migrating to newer areas, they remain stable. Not only they remain stable genetically, as a stable population, but also they could have such an habitat which could create least conflicting opportunity to the human populations and to others where they are migrating. So that will be the priority for our ministry this year. and we'll be requesting not only our ministry officials, but also all the research institutes, all the organizations which are involved with elephant conservation on particularly working towards this idea that wherever the elephant population is expanding, how to actually reduce the negative effects. So that will be the priority of our ministry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for highlighting the way forward for conserving elephants for future. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to manage conflicts and avoid loss of valuable lives of both humans and elephants, it is important to strengthen human-elephant coexistence by active management interventions by the state forest departments and by active involvement of various stakeholders. Ladies and gentlemen, we present before you a video on the existing scenario of elephant conservation and the steps taken to address human-elephant conflict.
India is home to one of the most iconic species of wildlife in the world, the Asiatic elephant. Our country's forests hold more than 30,000 elephants, which is 60% of the world's Asiatic elephant population. Elephants are an integral part of our culture and heritage. They are revered as the living incarnation of Lord Ganesha, remover of obstacles. The habitats of elephants are crucial carbon sinks that help sequester atmospheric carbon dioxide. Elephants and their habitats are our best line of defense in the face of climate change. Recognizing their social, cultural, religious and ecological importance, the Government of India declared elephants as India's national heritage animal. But India's ever-increasing population, combined with forest fragmentation and habitat loss, has led to the collision of the worlds of elephants and people. Every year, over 500 people are killed and lakhs worth of property are destroyed when elephants enter human habitations. Humans are not the only casualties. Elephants are victims too. Human-elephant conflict has become a major cause of concern for our government. Elephants require vast stretches of forest for their survival. Their long-ranging habits inevitably bring them in direct contact with humans, leading to conflict. Addressing these issues has been a major cause of concern for our government. Forest departments are working round the clock to nurture a healthy coexistence between elephants and people. They are finding innovative and diverse ways to facilitate the reduction of conflict. The department has been adopting habitat enrichment methods to ensure there is adequate food and water. With their survival needs met, there is a reduced chance of elephants wandering out of these forested areas. In areas where the forests are fragmented and wildlife corridors are thin, elephants sometimes move out of non-protected areas as they try to cross over into neighboring patches of forest, or sometimes to raid crop fields. In these cases, the department adopts different strategies to keep elephants inside the boundaries of protected areas. Simultaneously, they also work to improve the overall health of corridors. In places where elephants frequently come into human habitations, the Forest Department has devised ways to guide the animals back into the forests. The methods use highly trained forest staff with customized equipment to divert the elephants back into the protected areas. It also involves daily monitoring and tracking of elephants to aid in rapid response if necessary. In situations where elephants have entered residential areas and people's lives are at stake, the Forest Department shifts to a crisis management mode. Rapid response, precise communication, and effective execution of protocols are critical to the safety of all. The department takes measures to de-escalate the situation to avoid untoward incidents. After the conflict is resolved, they engage with the affected people and arrange for compensation of damages. To prevent conflict from happening in the first place, early warning systems have been adopted in many locations. The Forest Department innovatively uses technology to warn people of elephant presence, thus preventing the chance of an accident. Any successful conflict mitigation program requires the participation and cooperation of all stakeholders. The Forest Department runs numerous programs to educate people about the right way to deal with elephants when they enter human habitations. This includes training of responders, stakeholders, and the general public, who can be valuable allies in the journey to reduce elephant-human conflict. Elephants are an integral part of the tropical forest ecosystem. They are flagships of biodiversity conservation. As humanity grapples with the vagaries of climate change and life-crippling zoonotic diseases, conservation of elephants and their biodiverse habitats assumes greater importance. India is committed to the cause of elephant conservation, but more importantly, towards paving the way to a future where people and elephants can coexist in harmony.
A variety of management strategies and practices have been developed and customized and are being implemented by the state forest departments for preventing and mitigating human-elephant conflict. We request our Honorable Minister of Environment and Forest and the Honorable Minister of State to kindly release the pictorial guide on the best management practices of human-elephant conflict management in India that summarizes the various management interventions successfully adopted by elephant-range states and serves as a reference manual for best possible site-specific mitigative measures that can be adopted to reduce human-elephant conflict. A similar effort is also made in developing the national portal on human-elephant conflict management named Suraksha to set the data collection protocol, data transmission, and enable policymakers to leverage the data for policy formulation and for preparation of action plan for mitigation of conflicts. We request our Honorable Minister of Environment and Forest and Climate Change and our Honorable Minister of State Environment, Forest and Climate Change to kindly launch the portal Suraksha for data testing and to be rolled out to the State Forest Department for testing further on the pan-India rollout. Thank you, sir. His love and compassion for elephants is almost palpable. His heart wrenches every time an elephant or human dies in an interface, and he leaves no stones unturned to get all the stakeholders on ground to cohesively act to save elephant as well as people. A firm believer that action speaks louder than words, with his reins in his hands, we remain assured that the elephants have a secure future in India. Ladies and gentlemen, I present before you our Honorable Minister of State, Environment, Forest and Climate Change, whose daughter also shares the birthday with elephants on the World Elephant Day. Sir, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Shri Prakash Javadekar ji, Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and the best boss that I can really have. May you be honest with that. Shri Sanjay Kumar ji, Shri Dasgupta, Soumitra Dasgupta, Shri Amit Malik, Shri Noel Gomes, all of you. I welcome you on stage. The Joint Secretaries of the Ministry, friends from the media, and everyone who has a love for elephant and want to take this message forward that is happening today. I wish all of you a very warm welcome to this function today. It was important for me to take the mask off because what we are going to say today is very unmasked and from the heart. And what you are going to hear are some very honest efforts that are put in by the ministry to ensure that the growing number of elephants in the country, it's almost about 30,000 now. It used to be at one point of time around close to 15,000, where the Asian elephants were indeed announced as endangered species. Today it is no more an endangered species. We have to be very careful to ensure that we maintain that. But it's a very important day today because we need to be conscious about coexistence and how we can all coexist on this planet Earth. Thank you so much. I was not really conscious about the fact that World Elephant Day, we are celebrating it 2 days in advance, that it actually coincides with my younger daughter's birthday. She'll be very happy to know that when she grows up. And my mother before leaving said that in class 4, while in Don Bosco in Kolkata, in one of the fancy dress competitions, I played the role of an elephant and did it well by singing Chal 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 Mere Saathi, which was a hit song then. So it brings a lot of memories, and I really do love the elephant a lot. I remember taking my daughter on top of an elephant in Bangkok just about a year back, and I told her that they are very otherwise a very timid animal unless they feel threatened in some manner, or they some of them they get distance from their own group, and then they start behaving a little too violently. You all know that elephants are large herbivorous animals. Thank you so much, Soumitra, for putting it in my speech. They are herbivorous animals, they are not carnivorous, and therefore they are not per se dangerous to us. They can be found in diverse habitats such as forests, grasslands, mountain, deserts, marshes. In fact, in every part of the world. So I'm not getting into details of that. We have 3 kinds of elephants in the world: the African forest elephants, the African bush elephants, and Asian elephants, of which we can boast that 60% of the global population of Asian elephants are found in India. To take a leaf out of what we saw in the last portion of the video that you saw, it's very true that as our Honorable Minister Prakash ji always highlights that it's true that there are a lot of human-animal conflicts that happen in the country, and most of the times the elephants, the death of elephants or cruelty against elephants, which is definitely an illegal act, it gets highlighted in every portion of the media. But the fact remains that number of human beings, I would say that, what is the ratio, Soumitra ji? I think for one elephant that we that gets gets hurt or fatally injured in a animal-human conflict, there are 500 human beings who lose their life, and therefore it is very, very important for us to understand that controlling at one hand it's a dilemma in a way. It's huge success at one part to have elevated the number of elephants, and how to have doubled it from being an endangered species to a number where we can comfortably say that they are not endangered anymore. And to be very honest, to create the atmosphere, it is not going to multiply just like that. Even in the case of tigers, as you know, we have celebrated that. We had our Honorable Prime Minister releasing the number last year. Even then, the goal to increase the number of tigers by 2022 was to cross 3,000, which was around 1,400, 1,500 some 10 years back in 2010, I believe, if I remember correctly. Now, in 3 years, 4 years prior to, 3 years prior to that particular goal set for 2022, we have already probably crossed 3,000, because last year when these numbers were announced, it was 2,967. So by this time, it must have increased, crossed the number of 3,000. So similarly, in the area of conserving and making sure that elephants are safe, the ministry and everyone associated with it, I would like to credit everyone for doing their best. But can that best be can the best be bettered? That's the question, and that is exactly where the challenge lies. Can we ensure that this coexistence can happen without lesser number of human elephant conflicts? And that's exactly what you have seen, that how technology is being used, how people, the fringe areas where human beings are very close to, getting into, to have elephants, areas where elephants and human beings can overlap, over each other. Those areas are, not only people in those areas are educated, but also the voluntary people, they can be relocated with their consent. It's a very big endeavor that has been launched by the Government of India, where 10 lakh rupees are given to those people who stay in close proximity to the forest, and either they get that 10 lakh and move away from that area, or the government spends that 10 lakhs to create for them a house away from that area, from the fringe areas, and that's absolutely voluntary. So I would like to believe that while the incident in Kerala, it actually highlighted the callous and very what would I say, inhumanic and of course a criminal act by a section of individuals. I would like to assure to you that the central government, the ministry, along with in close coordination with the Kerala government, has taken a very strict zero tolerance approach towards this incident. And while the culprits are still on the run, we have not been able to arrest them. They are going to be arrested soon, and exemplary punishment will be given to ensure that people resort to frightening elephants away from coming close to human proximity, or damaging crops or harming humans. But they cannot, because we are human beings. We cannot. Inhumanic is the last term that you want to get associated with. The last 3 years have been turning point in the realm of elephant conservation in the country. There have been some very significant measures that have been taken. If I can mention that to you, the identification of elephant corridors in the country, which is very, very important. It makes you careful, careful about those areas where the chances of human elephant conflicts are more. Yesterday was my marriage anniversary, so it was if I have identified which are the areas where my wife gets angry, it makes my marriage a much more harmonious one. So identifying the elephant corridors is not a bad thing to do. So that's a great endeavor. It's not easy, but it's being done very, very diligently. Notification of new elephant reserves, conducting all India synchronized elephant population estimation on scientific lines, establishment of interstate committees for interstate migration of elephants, creation of captive elephant management committees, resumption of reporting like MIK, monitoring of illegal killing of elephants, inclusion of Indian elephants in Appendix 1 of CMS, finalization transboundary protocol between India and Bangladesh, establishment of elephant cell to provide technical support to PE division, etc. And many more. I assure you that many more such initiatives will be taken by the central and state government in the years to come to ensure that all stakeholders are very conscious and careful for the conservation and welfare of elephants. The launch of the portal Suraksha, as you have just seen, and our DG Forest Sanjay Kumarji, I just overheard what he said right now, that in 3 months we are going to be, that particular portal is going to be very much in place, where technical know-how and training can be voluntarily acquired by people. The ministry is definitely going to do its work to ensure that it reaches all sections of people who are associated with this particular human-elephant conflict areas and how to avoid that. But it will also be voluntarily available to even students to go ahead and see what they can do to create awareness. Social media is a very important, very strong platform today, and they can make good use of that, today's youngsters, in spreading this awareness. The launch, as I said, it's and the release of the best practices of human-elephant conflict management in India blends well with the theme of this World Elephant Day 2020, living with elephants. I think the with word is very, very important here, and the slogan Hathi Hamara Sathi. So this World Elephant Day 2020, on this World Elephant Day, which is not today but on the 12th, we would all let us pledge to come together in protecting our national heritage animal for our future generations. So thank you so much once again, ladies and gentlemen, for being a part of today's endeavor, and I hope that you are going to take this message forward. You are going to ensure that once the Suraksha portal is on, you would share it with people. Today's youngsters are very interested about wildlife. They are very passionate about, very compassionate with animals, and I hope that you are going to spread the word, and therefore and make it important for all of us to understand this is a planet where coexistence is the most important thing. Thank you so much. सर ये 2 लाइन मुझे गाने के लिए बोल रहे हैं, उसमें नौकरी चली जाएगी. हाँ, वो टीवी में सिर्फ उतना ही दिखेगा, मैंने जो भी अच्छी बातें बोली वो दिखाया नहीं जाएगा, तो ये मेरे लिए बहुत खतरनाक हो जाता है. तो सर थैंक यू सो मच.
थैंक यू सर.
शुरू करता हूँ मैं. समय नहीं. मेरे अजीज साथी बाबुल सुप्रियो, डीजी संजय कुमार, दासगुप्ता जी, प्रोजेक्ट एलिफेंट के सभी अधिकारी, अन्य अधिकारी और जो जुड़े हैं लाइव में, और ये दूरदर्शन पर भी लाइव है, बाकी जगह भी लाइव है, इसलिए मैंने सोचा कि यहाँ बैठकर आपसे बात करूं. गणेश की मूर्ति जब भी हम देखते हैं तो एक बुद्धिमान देवता की याद आती है. हाथी भी प्राणियों में बहुत बुद्धिमान प्राणी है. और मुझे अपने देश के संस्कृति का आश्चर्य होता है, गर्व होता है कि लोग प्राणियों को मारते नहीं और मारना अच्छा नहीं मानते और मारना नहीं चाहते. अभी मैंने देखा, सुना न्यूज, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में पानी की किल्लत के चलते हजारों ऊंटों को मारा गया. हमारे देश में ऐसा नहीं होता. एक दिन मैं कोल्हापुर जिले में गया था, तो वहां सारे किसान इकट्ठा हुए थे और वो बताने लगे कि एक के बाद एक कि हाथी आते हैं, खेत का नुकसान करते हैं, पूरा साफ करते हैं, तोड़ देते हैं, शिकायत कर। तो मैंने कहा इसका क्या करें? तो जंगल के अधिकारियों ने कहा कि उनको वापस जंगल में भेजने के वो क्या प्रयास करते हैं। लेकिन मैंने कहा इसका कोई मारते हैं क्या? तो किसानों ने कहा नहीं सर, मारना नहीं चाहिए। तो मैंने कहा फिर क्या करना चाहिए? तो उन्होंने कहा सर, अगर जंगल में पानी और खाद्य मिला तो वो बाहर क्यों आएंगे? और एक जो किसानों ने ये सूत्र समझाया, उसके आधार पर हमने फॉडर एंड वाटर ऑगमेंटेशन इन जंगल एरियाज, ये बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण कार्यक्रम लिया है। और उस कार्यक्रम में अब इस बार लाइडर टेक्नोलॉजी का भी उपयोग कर रहे हैं, लाइडर सर्वे भी कर रहे हैं। और इस साल जो दिसंबर के बाद काम होगा, सर्वे के बाद, उसके सहारे अगले साल से जंगलों में पानी और जंगलों में घास और खाद्य बहुत अच्छे मात्रा में पैदा होगा, ये मुझे पूरा विश्वास है। तो ये देश प्राणियों पर प्रेम करता है, प्राणियों को अपना समझता है, प्राणियों की पूजा भी करता है, पेड़ों की पूजा करता है, प्रकृति को अपने साथ मानता है। और इसलिए हमने देखा दुनिया में भारत के पास दुनिया की केवल 2.5% जमीन है, केवल 4% बारिश है, और जनसंख्या तो दुनिया की 16% भारत में है। 16% पशुओं की संख्या भी दुनिया की भारत में ही है। और दोनों को खाना भी लगता है, जमीन भी लगता है, पानी भी लगता है। फिर भी मैडम यहाँ बैठी है तो 8% बायोडाइवर्सिटी, हमारे देश में जीव विविधता दुनिया की यहाँ है। ये इस देश के लोगों में जो प्रकृति को अपना माना, उसका उदाहरण है, उसका परिणाम है। और इसलिए ह्यूमन एनिमल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट न हो, उसके सीधे सीधे उपाय भी होते हैं। मैं काजीरंगा गया, काजीरंगा में एक नियत स्थान से हाथी 1 या 2 बार दिन में क्रॉस करते हैं सड़क को। कभी कभी एक्सीडेंट होते थे, रात में खासकर। तो उसमें 2 उपाय थे। एक था जो अधिकारियों ने तुरंत एक प्लान बनाया कि सर एक 10 किलोमीटर का फ्लाईओवर लाएंगे, तो उसको 2000 करोड़ रुपए लगेंगे, कैसे कर सकते हैं? तो ऐसे उपाय मत बनाओ कि जो फिजिबल नहीं है। तो हमने दूसरे अधिकारियों ने चर्चा की, साइंटिस्ट भी थे, उन्होंने बताया कि अगर सिग्नलिंग करेंगे कि सेंसर से हाथी की मूवमेंट का पता करके अगर रोड पर वो जो रेलवे के सिग्नल जैसे मैन गेट पर पड़ते हैं वैसे सिग्नल पड़ेंगे, तो बीच में से हाथी जाएंगे, बाकी यातायात रुकेगी। और वो हमने शुरू किया और सफल रहा। तो ये कर सकते हैं। एनिमल ह्यूमन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट टालने के भी ये अनेक उपाय हैं। लेकिन जो मनुष्यों की हानि होती है वो भी टालने के लिए प्रशिक्षण की भी जरूरत है, और वो ज्यादा रूप से हमारे लोग और फॉरेस्ट विभाग के लोग देंगे, क्योंकि आप फॉरेस्ट के बाहर न जाने के लिए कितनी भी उसको हर्डल्स तैयार करो आप हाथी को, अगर उसको जाना है तो वो जाएगा। एक बुद्धिमान प्राणी है, वो समझता है क्या ये है, बीच में जो खड़ा किया है वो क्या है, और उसको टाल देता है। तो इसलिए हाथी एक हमारा वैभव है। और देखो भारत कैसा है, दुनिया के 77% बाघ भारत में, और दुनिया के एशियन एलिफेंट्स में 60% भारत में। तो इतनी विविधता और इतने कंस्ट्रेंट्स के बावजूद भी जो है, मुझे लगता है दुनिया एलिफेंट डे, टाइगर डे ऐसे डे करती है। भारत में पूरा वर्ष ही एलिफेंट का है, पूरा वर्ष सृष्टि का होता है, पूरा वर्ष प्राणियों का होता है। मनुष्य और प्राणी एक साथ रहते हैं, इतने सालों से रहकर आए हैं, और उससे चराचर सृष्टि बहुत अच्छी रहती है। पता है आपको कि हाथी 150 किलो खाता है रोज। तो जब पत्ते वगैरह तोड़ता है तो गिरता भी है 150 किलो, कि जो वो नहीं खाता, वो दूसरे प्राणियों के लिए वो खाद्य होता है। और दूसरी चीज है कि वो खाता है, उसके विष्ठा से जो खाद मिलता है जमीन को, वो भी बेहद जमीन को फर्टाइल बनाने के लिए काम आता है। तो ये एक दूसरे की मदद से सृष्टि आगे चलती है। तो आज इस विश्व का एलिफेंट का लोग आज दिवस मनाते हैं, तो हमने भी सोचा कि इसका करें, और जिस तरह से पोर्टल और ये रिपोर्ट लाया है, बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस ऑफ ह्यूमन एलिफेंट कॉन्फ्लिक्ट मैनेजमेंट, ये मुझे लगता है बेहद महत्वपूर्ण है। क्योंकि केवल लोगों को पैसे देकर उनके क्रॉप के नुकसान का या उनके जान माल के नुकसान का केवल उपाय नहीं है। उपाय ज्यादा रोबस्ट ट्रेनिंग और जंगलों में ज्यादा पानी और घास और बांबू और बाकी सारे तैयार करना खाद्य, ये उसका उपाय है, और वो हम करने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। इतना ही आज के दिन पर मैं कहूँगा। सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir, for stressing on the importance of habitat and fodder augmentation and water development and the use of technologies to manage elephants in our country. Now I request our Inspector General of Forest Project Elephant Division, Mr. Don Thomas, to kindly give a small token of memento to Mr. Soumitra Dasgupta, Additional Director General of Wildlife, to kindly deliver a memento to our Honorable Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Thank you, sir. I request Inspector General of Wildlife, Mr. Dr. Amit Malik, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Very good afternoon to all, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, respected Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Javadekar sir, Minister Minister of State, Babul Supriyo sir, senior officials of the ministry, all who are watching this event through streaming. A very good afternoon to you all. First and foremost, Javadekar sir, we really would like to thank you today for inaugurating the function on World Elephant Day, and also for your words of wisdom which have been guiding us all through. We thank you very much for participating in today's program and inaugurating it. Babul Supriyo sir, Minister of State, sir, you have always been a guiding force as far as wildlife matters are concerned.
केंद्रीय वन एवं पर्यावरण मंत्री प्रकाश जावड़ेकर ने विश्व हाथी दिवस 2020 के सिलसिले में हाथी और मानव के बीच टकराव प्रबंधन पर एक पोर्टल लॉन्च किया। साथ ही